Morning, Ross.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you feeling about the next 2 days?
Well, actually I didn't get into late last night.
That's not making excuses.
No, yeah. It was like 1 o'clock by the time I got to bed. I was like, oh, I've got to get up and do these workouts tomorrow.
Have you had a good breakfast?
I have. I feel okay. I feel ready.
Well fueled?
No aches and pains, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. It's not a great day for running, is it?
Well, if anyone can do it, you can.
We're all going to do it. There's no choice. Got to do it, haven't we? Still no power.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Turn that one on. Ah, the pain cave.
The church.
Ready? Well, I suppose like everyone, I'd done, kind of normal gyms and things, but the kind of repetition and the inability to kind of plan what you'd do in the gym just led to boredom, really. And so, we were looking together for something that would kind of keep us motivated. We'd kind of started on the fitness trail. I didn't know at the time, obviously, but I hadn't really dialed in the nutrition side, although I'd initially lost a little bit of weight. This was going back 5 years. And then somehow, I guess, we found CrossFit online and started searching around the Sussex area for places to go and do it. And I was kind of just bitten by the variety and the community aspect of it, and the fact you're all doing it together, I suppose, like a lot of people. And it's something that I know I can sustain. It's a sustainable way of staying fit, really, and avoiding kind of decrepitude in old age, I suppose. I think its popularity is in the constantly varied element, but off the back of that, I think a lot of people have kind of discovered these kind of high intensity workouts and the benefit to their health and muscle growth, rather than just doing steady state cardio. I mean, that's part of it, as you know. Sometimes we do steady state kind of rowing or long distance runs or whatever, but it satisfies people's wants for that kind of element of pushing themselves to the limit every time, but the constant variety and the reintroduction and the popularity of Olympic weightlifting and gymnastics, particularly in older age groups. We're doing things that we never thought we could do for the first time. People learning how to do muscle ups, in their late 40s or later. People learning how to do handstands or walk on their hands, snatch a heavy barbell. Things that I suppose were originally the domain of younger athletes.
So I've overheard people in the past refer to CrossFit as a cult, sometimes even a religion. Do you think that's fair, or is it maybe a misunderstanding on their part?
Yeah, I think it's a misunderstanding. I think people like the community aspect of being part of a CrossFit box, which is something you only get in kind of traditional sports clubs, single sports clubs, I would say. I've never found. I suppose people like to kind of espouse the benefits of CrossFit to people who aren't involved, and that might seem like an obsession. But there's an old saying, isn't there, that people use the word obsessed to describe people who are just dedicated to what they do. But if they want to describe that as cultish, then so be it. I think it's a little unfair, because cults to me tend to denote things that have nefarious reasons for existence or a malicious end, and obviously CrossFit is the opposite of that.
Would you describe CrossFit as training or exercise?
No, that is a good question. I think people get confused between CrossFit as a training tool and CrossFit the sport. And CrossFit the sport is very enticing, and a lot of people want to head in that direction. And if you want to compete and do it as a sport, even at amateur level, that's great. Enjoy. But I think for the majority of people, and for the majority of the health of a CrossFit box and the coaches and the other people in it, CrossFit is most useful as a training tool. So you're training to become a better human being. But of course, you're using different forms of exercise, if you like, as part of that training program. So it's probably a combination, really.
So which elements of CrossFit do you most enjoy? Metcon, Olympic lifting, or gymnastics?
Do I most enjoy? Probably the barbell lifting. I think everybody, sees, lifting a barbell, even at medium weight like I do. The fun part of it. If you enjoy the Metcons, you're probably not doing it right. I would say they're supposed to be a little bit painful, aren't they? But I'm starting to enjoy the gymnastics more because I'm getting slightly better at it. I used to struggle with it, hanging from a bar or trying to get up in the rings or get upside down. And now those things are becoming easier for me, I think. And so, it becomes more enjoyable when you can master those movements, because I suppose they're the hardest, true body weight movement with good form is probably the hardest thing to do.
Is there anything you don't like about CrossFit?
No. Simple as that, really. No, I can't think, it's sometimes, I suppose, if you're deep in the pain cave in the middle of a workout, you might, and everybody would probably get this, I want to stop, I want to quit, like, why am I doing this again? All those kind of doubts. But actually, on a serious note, you're training yourself to be a better person, and use those skills in life. I think I'm actually a more resilient human being. I'm better at what I do in my main job because of it. I'm a mentally tougher person because of pushing myself in CrossFit. And that's all down to the team that you're doing it with, the people that you're doing it with. They encourage you to keep going. I've never quit a workout, never. Even when it took me way, way longer than it should have done, I've never stopped a workout in the middle of a workout, not once. Well, the male's easy. I think Matt Fraser, I think, is still and will probably still be untouchable, purely because as he said himself, he trains not to have wheelhouses. I'd be surprised if Vellner and Fikowski don't push him a little bit more. You've always got people on the bubble as well, like Noah Olsen. But when you look at those, going back and looking at those guys' performances, they've always had a little bit like Fraser has a couple of times, particularly when he lost to Ben Smith, a few movements maybe, or one workout that let him down. But if those guys can iron out those issues, particularly Vellner, because he more or less came last in the swim event last year. If he can sort that element out, he could be a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. On the women's side, I think it might be a little bit more clear-cut this year, because now they've all been to Madison once and they know the lay of the land. They won't know the workouts, of course, but they're used to the environment and the terrain and the weather and all that kind of stuff. I would be surprised not to see the two Australians again on the podium. But the one that everybody wants to do well, I suppose, is Sarah Sigmundsdottir. She's just never quite turned up at the games, and I think a number of the things that she's talking about now, like cycling up, getting herself to peak at the right time in her training schedule. If she can do that, she should already have won the games twice, in my opinion, but just didn't turn up on the day. So who knows? Probably as usual, it will be the female part of the competition that will be the most interesting to watch.
So, in your considered opinion, who is the best CrossFitter? You, Simon Kane, or Matt Tyler? You have to take the open. You have to take the open results, and if you take this year's open results, it looks like Simon's got a better all-round game at the moment. I mean, he has done a lot of work on his
Well, he's done all the work. End of story. The fact of the matter is, he's in here doing the master programming when nobody else was. He was putting in the work when nobody else did, and so it's not a surprise that he kind of, got the results. Matt, I think, is obviously a great athlete, but he was new to CrossFit. He will be a different beast. He already is, and so will I. I'm coming for you. So, the purpose behind today was, every year I try to do something for my work nominated charity. I work for a company called Mace Group, and they have a charitable part of the organisation called the Mace Foundation, and they select different things, and each year I've done something CrossFit related to raise money. And I really wanted to push my own limits a little bit this year, so we're doing the 6 workouts, as you know, over the 3 days. And the Mace, want to say thank you to the Mace Foundation. They've accepted my challenge as a legitimate in that sense, because we're going to video it for them as proof that we've done the workouts, and they will double my any kind of fundraising efforts that I make. So I'm hoping this will be the best fundraising effort I've made. I don't think there are many people who haven't been touched by cancer in some way, people that they know, or work colleagues, or their own family, and those people will certainly understand the value of Macmillan, so I'm pleased to raise money for them.
So, any last minute thoughts before we get into this?
Yeah, it's just a bit cold today. I'm looking forward to getting warmed up more than anything else, I think. But everybody's warmed up, it's getting into it. I can feel the vibe building slowly. Everybody's obviously coming off a Friday night, aren't they? So,
any particular strategy?
Yeah, I'm tempted not to thrash it in Cindy, just because I don't want to blow up my shoulder for Nancy later on.
Are you going straight into the next one?
No, we'll have a little break and a drink and something to eat, I think. Annie, I'm not worried about, because hopefully I can. That's the one I want to get a PB on today, really. And then Nancy is what it is. You're either tired after the runs or you're not. If you're not, you can do unbroken sets of overhead squats. Then you can get a good time. If not, it's just a bit of a grind, Nancy, to be honest. But yeah, be good fun.
Good luck.
Cheers. Nice. Whoa! flying through those. The rest, I was back on the pull-ups before I knew it. PB by 3 rounds, 18 rounds 20. Yeah. Happy with that. Duncan's coming to join us today. We're going to make a video for all the charity things.
Right.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, I don't know.
Crushing yourself.
I only know Elizabeth at the moment, so
Right,
let's
that's
see.
your only experience of a benchmark WOD.
Exactly.
You'll kick off with Christie's, not too bad. It's only 3 rounds, isn't it?
She sounds
Take
like
it easy on the row, yeah, it'll be good. Enjoy.
Cheers.